Namaste. You are recording? Raghavan is not there, Shira?
Mahodaya is there. He started live. He started the recording now. He's there, but I think his picture is not there.
What about Shanti Bhagini? It's a long time.
Shanti Bhagini, I think कार्यालयस्य किञ्चित् कार्यम् अधिकमस्ति तावदेव सा उक्तवती.
तर्हि कदा आगच्छति सा?
अहं भानुवासरे पृच्छामि महोदय.
मासत्रयात् अधिकम् अभवत्.
आम्.
भवतु सिद्धः अस्मि. यदि भवती सूचयति प्रारम्भं कुर्मः.
नो, आरम्भं करोतु महोदय.
ओम कृतो स्मर. ओम कृतो स्मर. क्लिबे स्मर. ओम कृतो स्मर. क्लिबे स्मर. कृतं स्मर. ओम कृतो स्मर. क्लिबे स्मर. कृतं स्मर. All from Yajurveda 40.15. 40.15. ओम कृतो स्मर. क्लिबे स्मर. कृतं स्मर. Om Krito Smara. Krito is the one who is active. One is into actions and reactions. That is we souls in the Sharira Indriya Manas. So we are referred to as Kritaha. Smara is to remind, to recapitulate, to recollect. So recollect, get reminded of Om. You know that Om is God. Om is Satchidananda. Recollect Om. The one who is in a phase of actions and reactions, chant and remember Om. That is we, souls, who are in the Sharirendra Manas. Klibe Smara. Klibe Smara. Kliba means our weaknesses, our limitations, our shortcomings. So remember them, recollect them. Kritam Smara. Whatever we have done, remember them, analyze them, understand them. Kritam Smara, whatever you have done. Om Krito Smara, Klibe Smara, Kritam Smara. This is the direct meaning what I say. Now I have to go deep into it and what actually they mean and what actually they tell us. Krito Smara, Krito. Krito means it is addressed to we beings who are in the Sharira Indriya Manas. You remember and chant Om. Understand it. Now this can be done only when we are in Sharira Indriya Manas. That's very important. Only when we are in a phase of action and reaction. Once the soul leaves this body, I can do nothing. I'm dormant. I'm inactive. Until I get into another Sharira Indriya Manas, and that Sharira Indriya Manas may be a human body or something else. You don't know. If it gets into another human body, fine. Otherwise, I cannot do this job. Om Krato Smara, I cannot do it. If at all I can chant, if I can think about God, if at all I can understand the qualities and features of God, it's possible only when I am in this human form in the Sharira Indriya Manas. It's a great opportunity what I have got. This I have discussed several times. The same thing is reminded here once again. Once you leave the Sharira Indriya Manas, you don't know what happens next. We are totally under the mercy of cosmic law, under the divine control. We may get into another human body, we may not. When you get into a human body, yes, we can do it, we can continue it, because it is known as a karma yoni. Karma yoni is the one where we can do things. If we get into a non-human form, then it is a bhoga yoni, and there we have to live only according to our instincts, and that's the end of it. Nidra, ahara, bhaya, and reproduction. But now we are not so. Now we are not so. We are in a human body. We are able to think. We are able to analyze. We are able to visualize. We are able to mend our thoughts, words, and actions. It's a great opportunity. So, what is the best I can do? Think of Om. Remember Om. Now we are in the phase of action and reaction. You are able to do. You are able to control. You are a better enlightened animal. If I am to use that very word animal, you are a better animal, you are enlightened thinking animal, analyzing animal, do it. Now what does thinking about Om mean? Next thing, you do it. You think about, you remember Om. What does it mean actually? It's not just closing your eyes, holding your nose, and squatting and telling Om, 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 Om. No, it's not something mechanical. That's what you usually do. Remember and chant when you say, you do that. Maybe Om, maybe something else. Om Shivaya Namaha, Om Ganeshaya Namaha. Something we say, close our eyes, hold our nose, and do it. And we say, our japam is over, our chanting is over, remembering God is over. So, Vedas don't say that. And in Patanjali also says very clearly, Patanjali, that is the author of Yoga Darshana, he says, Japastad Artha Bhavanam. What is japa? He says, japa is getting into mind the meaning of what you are chanting. You just chant something without understanding the meaning, or chant something which has no meaning, then that whole japa, that whole chanting, that whole remembering God is all useless. If you remember God as an idol, it's useless, because God is not an idol. God is with form, without form, and this idol is with form. They don't match. Just chant something, Ram, Rim, Rum, Hum. There are many people who chant like that. The very words Ham, Rim, Hum doesn't have any meaning. What is the use of chanting it? Or okay, chant Gayatri mantra itself. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha. Fine. But after chanting, have you understood what it means? No. You don't understand even after chanting. Then that whole chanting is futile, meaningless, useless. So chanting or praying or remembering God means understanding what you are chanting. What does that mantra say? Why use the word mantra? The very meaning of mantra is the one which saves us by chanting again and again. Mananat trayata iti mantra. Manana means to ponder over it, to again and again chant it, and again understand it. We do that, that becomes manana. And with that manana, you are saved. That manana will throw light into your life. That manana will show you the path to tread. That's only mantra. So mantra chanting is fine, but chanting of mantra is not mechanical. It is by understanding it. So it is the best and easiest mantra, Om. Om is the best and easiest mantra. All can chant, no discrimination of any caste, creed, race, gender. All can chant Om. Now, how do you understand Om? Om is God, Satchidananda. Om means the one who protects. Om means the one who is the master of this whole universe. Om is the one who is the light. Om is the one who leads. Om is the one who is compassionate. So Om has got all these meanings in that. So when I'm chanting Om, I should get all these qualities of God into my mind. First step. Second step, what all qualities I have remembered about God through Om, all those qualities are to be imbibed into my life. It's not just getting them. First of all, mere chanting without understanding is useless. Even if I understand them also, it becomes useless if I don't adopt it in my life. God is Sarvajna. As a devotee, I should also become, if not Sarvajna, at least an intelligent, wise man. God is compassionate. As his devotee, I should also become compassionate. God is the master of the universe. As his devotee, I should become at least master of my own Sharir Indriya Manas. There are so many such qualities which is attached to Om. So if I chant Om by knowing the meaning of it and finally adopt in my life, yes, I'm saved. And all this I can do when Kritaha. That's when I'm with Sharir Indriya Manas, when I'm able to do it. When I got a tool to do it. If the tool is lost, I cannot do anything. I'm dead. I'm dormant. I'm inactive. I cannot even think. I'm just in a sleep mode. There's no use. Om Krito Smara. When you are active, when you're capable of thinking, talking, and doing, now you remember Om. Now you recollect Om. Recollecting Om means to understand its qualities and features, and next step is adopt them in your life. Then this very human life becomes purposeful, meaningful, useful. That's the meaning of human life. If you just live, eat, drink, and die, it's not a human life. It's an animal-like life. That also does the same thing. Instinctively, I also do it instinctively and end my life. That's of no use. There's a great opportunity where I can understand those qualities and imbibe them, and finally the result will be seen with the soul becoming stronger and purer. Om Krito Smara. Words are very few, but the meaning is very deep. Om Krito Smara. Krito, Kritaha, Om Smara. Chant Om, remember Om, understand it. That is God. Don't mistake God as an idol. Don't mistake God as an inert thing. Don't mistake God as a photo. God is all powerful, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent entity. It has got so many qualities. Remember them, recollect them, appreciate them, and finally put them into practice in your life. You are saved. Have a bright future. All this you can do when you are in the body, when you are with your tool. That's very, very important. Why I tell you? Then you got Klibe Smara. Klibe Smara. Next thing. When you're doing all these things, when you are in this life, okay, praying for God, doing japa for God is all fine. Doing God's japa, that's all excellent. Now, Klibe means our weaknesses and shortcomings. Please note them. Klibe Smara. Remember your limitations. Remember your shortcomings. So what is use? Okay, analyze. Okay, I have got this limitation, I'm not capable of doing this, I'm not capable of doing this. Okay, all your shortcomings, all your limitations, you try to understand. What is the use? The use, try to overcome those limitations and overcome your weaknesses. This when you can do? Only when you are in this human structure, not otherwise. It's a great opportunity. Now these limitations, these shortcomings, they all refer to the samskara in the soul mainly. Physical limitation, don't worry much, because one day or other you're going to throw this physical body. Even if you overcome them also, priority is different. Even if you overcome, one day it's going to die. You are going to get separated from this Sharindra Manas. So that's not your priority. Of course, that is there in the list. Overcome your physical limitations, overcome your mental limitations. That's all there. But the highest priority is to overcome the kusamskaras in your soul. Kusamskara. The bad imprints and bad impressions which come in the way of you getting the strength of the soul and purity of the soul. Think of them. They are your weaknesses. So in what terms you understand your weaknesses? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. You becoming too indulgent. The indulgence is not a part of your Sharindra Manas. The soul which is influencing the Sharindra Manas to indulge. So control it. Too much of indulgence will take you towards mundane and worldly things, and you miss the spiritual aspect of it, spiritual angle of it. Krodha is anger, ire. It will create a lot of problems, and you will have no time to think about your spiritual progress. Lobha, avariciousness. You want this, you want that, you run behind it. What about improving your soul? What about uplifting your soul? Totally forgotten. It takes a backbench. Moha, attachment. If you get attached to things, please note, one day all these attachments will be cut seriously in one stroke. That is when you get separated. That is when death comes. Then should I not attach myself to things around? You need to attach, but be sure that these attachments are going to end one day. Don't cheat yourself that these attachments are permanent, eternal. No. Be sure about it. For running of my day, I have to attach to these things, but this is not a permanent relationship. Okay, it is there, and I'm always ready to get separated from these attachments. If not today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, definitely. It is sure to happen. That's death. Death means separation of the Sharindra Manas and the soul. When the soul gets separated, all the relationships that you would have developed through Sharindra Manas, they all get severed. They all come to an end. Mada. Mada is arrogance. Arrogance is our weakness. Arrogance is our weakness. If I'm arrogant, I will not be able to learn. I will not be able to get more and more information and knowledge. Because I'm arrogant. I say I know everything. I know everything. I am omniscient. I'm not, but still I feel I'm so. I'm great. I got nothing to learn. So if I have this attitude, then we are not able to get information, knowledge, experience. Everything will be blocked. So blocking of knowledge, blocking of experience, blocking of realization of truth ultimately results in the soul becoming weaker and impure. And the very purpose of human life is lost if you're arrogant. Matsarya, jealousy, and Sandharvan, which pulls our leg down, which makes the soul fall down, which makes the soul impure, weak. These are all our weaknesses. That's klibe. Klibe smara. Find out where you are weak. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Generally, if you don't analyze, you will not know anything at all. If you start analyzing, you will know that we have got certain weakness in all these 6 fields. To what extent we have got all these weaknesses? Think about, analyze. Klibe smara. And whatever weaknesses you have, first identify, then try to overcome it. With your deliberate effort. You will not be able to overcome it automatically, or it will not happen automatically. You have to deliberately do it. You have to think, analyze, and pray for strength from that Om and overcome it. Because Om is omnipotent. It is the strongest. So pray for His blessings, adopt it, and become strong and overcome your weaknesses. Klibe smara. So just knowing the weakness is of no use, but after knowing it, we have to overcome it. That is klibe smara. Kritam smara. Now just scan what you have done till date. Good or bad. Analyze. It is good, there is no problem. If it is wrong, stop it henceforth. Change it, transform it, and do good only. Again, the same question, what is good, what is bad? This we have been discussing again and again. What is good for you? I may look at it as bad. What is good for me? You may say it is bad for you. If you ask people what is the definition of good and bad, everybody has got a definition of their own. One person's good may not appear as good for another person. One person's bad may not appear as bad for another person. They're all different. Our viewpoints are different. Our dispositions are different. Our understandings are different. How to solve this problem? Is there any definition which is same for all of us when we are discussing about good and bad? This is a search we have to make. Can there be something which is good for all? Can there be something which can be bad for all? Or is purely dependent on individual's opinion? If it is individual's opinion, the confusion continues, the debate continues, the fight continues. But if we can find out something which is the same for all, the definition for good and bad, yes, we have solution there. Yes, Vedas tell it. We do have. We do have something which is the same for all, and the definition of good and bad is the same. I discussed it several times. I'm repeating it. Whatever contributes for the strength and purity of the soul is good. It's the same for all. Say, I'm violent. Say, a person who is violent, whoever it may be, and however they may feel, whether violence is right or wrong, if they feel, that doesn't matter at all. Violence always pulls down the soul and makes it weaker and impure. Over. That's the ultimate result. Whatever opinion they have, whatever they think, that doesn't help at all. A person tells lie, not truthful, not faithful. For that person, the soul becomes weaker and the soul becomes impure. The person may say, the opinion of the person may be that it is helpful, but it is not. Untruth and unfaithfulness, bringing down the soul, making it weaker and impure, is independent of anybody's opinion. Person may say, I can't help it, I will do it, nothing wrong in that. Okay, you say it, you feel that it is not wrong, but still your soul becomes weaker and impure. It doesn't depend upon unfaithfulness and untruth, impure, causing impurity in the soul and weakness in the soul is independent of your opinion. It doesn't depend upon your opinion. Your opinion may be anything. Anybody may look at it as good or bad, that doesn't matter. But it spoils the purity and strength of the soul. That's the law. That's the law. That's the rule. That's why it becomes objective. That becomes independent of one's personal opinion and feeling. It's purely dependent on something which is independent of persons. That's a fact. That is truth. Say, for example, I'll give a simple example. Say there is something to eat. One person eats it and say, it is sweet. Another person looks at it, say, it is sweeter. Another person eats it and say, it is the sweetest. Another person says, it is not at all sweet, it is bland. Now, what is the truth here? That's a problem. That's a problem. One says sweet, sweeter, sweetest, and bland. Who is right? Now, all these four, they're expressing depending upon their experience and their capacity to taste it and their tongue. So the scale to say whether it is sweet or bland, sweeter or sweetest, it depends upon their tongue and its sensitivity. The tongue is not sensitive, this is bland. It's very sensitive, they'll say it is sweetest. And other two, sweet and sweeter. What's the scale here? The scale is that individual's tongue. Whatever it be, now sweetness is due to, one simple example, the glucose and sucrose that is there in that. Glucose and sucrose give sweetness to anything. Maybe fructose, something like that. Now, how much of glucose is there in that? How much of sucrose in there or fructose is in there? Levulose is another thing, what we call. Now that gives the sweetness to it. That quantity what is present in that food is fixed. It can be measured with the help of instruments, how much it has got. What you feel is different. The quantity of glucose, sucrose, fructose or levulose that is there in that thing, that is different. Now the second thing is measurable and is independent of the tongue. That's very important what I'm telling you. If you look at it with your tongue, it may be different. But if I overcome the tongue, trespass the experience with tongue, but the physical content of glucose or sucrose or fructose, whatever it is, in that object, that's different. And that is truth. It doesn't depend upon our opinion. It has got X units of glucose over. That X is fixed. The same eggs may appear bland for one person, may appear sweetest for another person. That's a different issue. But for both, the quantity of glucose in that object is X only. That doesn't change. I remember having given one more example for this. Sun is there, sun is shining. One fellow says it is too hot. Another fellow says it's not too hot. Fine, that depends upon their sensitivity of the skin. The skin is sensitive, it becomes very hot, it appears very hot. For a person who doesn't have so much of sensitivity in the skin, says it's okay, it's warm, it's not very hot. Now who is right? Both the persons are giving a decision depending upon their sensitivity and their experience. We are not denying it, we are not denying it. But it's based on their sensitivity of the skin and their experience. So here, what is the scale for them? The scale is their skin. Of course, the sensitivity of the skin varies from person to person. They have got different opinions. Now, if I overcome it and use a meter which says the temperature now is 30 degrees Celsius. Now, the 30 degrees Celsius is not dependent on the sensitivity of the skin of any person. Just an instrument which measures it on some scale. Now, 30 degrees Celsius is the same. Even for the fellow who has got a sensitive skin, for a person who doesn't have so much sensitive skin. 30 degrees centigrade is fixed. Maybe one fellow reacts in one way for 30 degrees Celsius, another person feels it differently for 30 degrees Celsius. That's okay. But 30 degrees Celsius is common. That's the beauty of it. So we are making the thing more objective and we are not depending upon the scale as the skin of the person. We take the skin of the person as a scale, it varies from person to person. And I cannot come to a common understanding. I'm not able to find a common factor out of it. But I've used a meter to measure the temperature, then I reach a common place, common opinion. So right or wrong also has to be understood like this. It cannot be the experience or feeling of any single person because we all differ. We have got our own experiences, we have got our own prejudices, we have got our own sensitivities, our own discretions, discriminations, whatever you call it. They're all different. It doesn't match. Or it may match here and there. But I overcome all these individual prejudices and backgrounds, predispositions, and come to a way where I can measure it without these things. Yes, that becomes the truth. What is that? What helps in strengthening and purifying the soul is good. What doesn't is called as bad. Now, things helping to give strength and purity to the soul and not giving it, they are all common. It doesn't depend upon my opinion. There's a rule. You become too indulgent, the soul becomes weaker, over. That's the law. You have control over your sense organs and use them in a balanced way. That adds to your strength of the soul. That's the rule. That's not my opinion. I may know it, I may not know it. I may like it, I may not like it. But it is like that only. That's a rule. That's the law. Anything. You can take hundreds of examples like this. Gravitation law. I throw a thing up, it comes down. Now I don't think it has come down. Okay, you think like that. I have no objection. I don't know if I throw a thing, it comes down. Fine. But even then, if you throw it, it comes down. That's the law. It doesn't depend upon my opinion. It doesn't depend upon my experience or knowledge. It's independent of it. Everything, wherever the human intervention is there, human opinion is there, it is prejudiced. And it may not be truth. Where we speak in terms of something which is not dependent on the opinion of a person, yes, that becomes the truth. So in another way we can understand. Anything what you see in our life has got two phases. One we call it as the external phase or external phase. The other one is its intrinsic value. One is a face value, another one is the intrinsic value. If you evaluate a thing on the face value, it will be different from person to person. But if you look at the intrinsic value and evaluate it, it should be the same for all. So there are two things, face value and intrinsic value. Most of the time, we will be working on the face value. We never look at the intrinsic value. And you start looking at the intrinsic value, there will not be a difference between one person and the other person. I'll give one simple example from the point of view of face value and intrinsic value. Say there is a share of a company. What is the value of it? It depends upon the market fluctuations. It may be some value today, it may be a high value tomorrow, and it will be a low value day after tomorrow. It fluctuates. How does the share value, the face value of the share, the market value, market value change? It depends upon the demand and supply forces. So the demand and supply forces, they vary every moment. So its value varies. It's not the same. Now, whatever be the share value in the market because of demand and supply forces, the real worth of the company is the same. It don't change day after day. Worth of the company, whatever is there, that's the same. But because of more demand, the share price may go up. Because of more selling pressure, it may come down. But at what rate the share price in the market goes up and goes down, the worth of the company will not change so easily and so frequently. It's the same over a period. The worth of the company, the worth of the share is the same, but it fluctuates because of demand and supply forces. So demand and supply forces control the market value, the face value, whereas the internal worth is the same over a period. Any number of examples we can take like this. The external forces making it change will make it different from one point to another point, but its internal worth is the same. Okay, let me give another example. Say I analyze and introspect my own self. I introspect myself. Then understand that my control over anger, for example, my control over anger is 40%. 60% I am very angry. 40% I am okay. So this is my analysis after introspecting and after understanding. So my figure for not being angry is 40 and being angry is 60. 40, 60 is my composition of being anger and being calm. It's fine. Now someone says, you are too angry, and says your proportion of calm and angry is 20-80. Will it become truth? No. They may say, another person says, you are a very calm person, sir. Your calmness is 80 and your anger is 20. Let them say, that is their opinion. That is their analysis. Fine. But what are you really? 40-60. That won't change. So 40-60, what you have analyzed is same, and the opinion of others may be different. In the same way, Here it is our analysis overruling the opinion of others. Now even our analysis and other things, if it is overcome by something which is independent, which is objective, that becomes the truth. Truth is something which doesn't depend upon anybody's opinion, anybody's comment, anybody's criticism. It's independent of it. So when analyze things in this way, we can understand what is correct and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. The one which contributes to the strength of the soul and purity of the soul is good, correct, punya, and whatever doesn't contribute, it is a sin, it is wrong, it is bad. This is the way we have to understand.
Sharma ji, with the same logic, how can we say, in the same logic, can we say, how do we say God is truth?
God is truth.
Yeah, so same logic.
It is, we have got three entities, Sat, Satchit and Satchidananda. And when we have understood the existence of all the three, Satchidananda is God. Say Sat is which just exists, which doesn't have the awareness of its existence. It doesn't have that consciousness. That we have seen. All the material things what we have got, they exist, of course. They are very much real, but they are not able to understand their existence. They are just there. Say you got your headphones. Headphones are very much there. You are using it, I'm looking at it. But does the headphone know that I am a headphone sitting on Shriram's head and doing this job? No. It's doing the job, you remove it and keep it on the table, it just stops working. Or when you put the switch on, it will be still working and it is know what is what. So we call that as the Sat, the inner thing. Then you got Satchit. Satchit is one which exists and also is aware of its existence. That is you and me. We know that we are called as Sharma, I am called as Shriram, somebody is called as Nital, something. We know that. We exist. We are in such and such a place. We have got so many people around us, so many things we are using. We are aware of all those things. But our Sharira is Jada. Because the Sharira is still there when the soul quits this and we are called dead and the Sharira is there, but it can't have all these things. It doesn't have consciousness. We are with consciousness. The Sharira is Jada. Within this Jada Sharira, there is that consciousness. So we are called as Satchit. The consciousness gets separated, this becomes inert. Now, we as Satchit have always experienced Ananda, bliss. But this experience of bliss has not been continuous. It has been on and off, on and off. And this bliss is not our nature or feature. Because if it were to be our nature or feature, we should have that experience of bliss always, because that's my nature, very nature. And that's not there, but that's not there. But bliss is there. That's the question what we have. We have experienced bliss, bliss is there, but I am not that bliss. So doesn't have awareness at all, forget about bliss. But because bliss is there, something must be there to support that bliss. Something must be there which is the fountain of bliss. And that we call as Satchit Ananda. Ananda is bliss. Now the Satchit Ananda, which is the main source of the fountainhead of Ananda or bliss, we call it as God, Satchidananda. It is there. Anybody, if he says that Satchidananda is not there, they are misled, but that doesn't harm the existence of, that doesn't bring into jeopardy the existence of Satchidananda. That such still exists. You may say it is not there. It's like this. I sit in a room, close all the windows and doors, and put a blanket on me and say, sun is not there. Is it true? Sun is still shining outside. It's me who is in a dark room and I covered myself with a blanket and telling it is very dark, sun is not there. Okay, that's your opinion, that's your experience, fine, but that's not the truth. Truth is sun is shining. How do you know? Remove the blanket, open the doors and windows, you get all the light and heat, and you can say sun is there. In the same way, one who says Satchidananda is in a state of ignorance. He's in darkness. So he opens up his windows and doors, he'll be able to experience the presence of God. How? The logic is the same. It is a source of ananda, it's a source of bliss, it's a source of peace. So peace and bliss is there, we are very much sure about it, but it's not me, it's not in me, or it's not in the inner thing. So something else was with it, that's the third entity, Satchidananda, there it is. You say that third entity is not there, how do you explain for the presence of peace and bliss? From where you get it? It's not in me, it's not in inner things, but it is there. That it is there is our experience, is experience for all of us. We are all at one point or the other, may not be at the same point, but at one point or the other, all of us we experience peace and bliss. Of course, not continuously, in off and on stage. We know peace is there, we know bliss is there. From where it comes? Some source must be there for it. And that source only we infer as God. But one thing is certain, this God, which is a source of peace and bliss, is not an inner thing and doesn't have any form. That's the important thing. We have to understand it rightly. It is formless, it is omnipresent, and is also the subtlest, which is in everything. Because this peace and bliss you can experience anywhere at any time. It's not that you have to go for a certain place and get it. That's conditioning. There's no conditioning required here. Wherever you are, you can experience bliss. You can experience peace. That all depends on the purity and strength of the soul. It's pure and strong. Wherever you are at any point of time, you are able to experience peace and bliss. Same logic, same logic. Satchidananda is an entity which exists irrespective of our opinion, irrespective of our capacity to experience it. It's independent of it. Even if I say Satchidananda is not there as an atheist, okay, you can say it, still God exists. But not as an idol, but not as a photo, but not as a painting, but as a source of peace and bliss. It exists still. So, there are two things. One is which is subjected to our opinion and prejudices. Another thing which is free from it. So what is free from it is what I am telling as truth. What I am calling it as what Vedas call it as truth. And that truth is independent of anyone's opinion or experience. It's common to all. Whether we know it or not, whether we don't know it, it doesn't matter. It is there. It does like that. That's the rule. That's what I was speaking about gravitation law just now. Whether I know it or not, the law exists. Through the orbit, it will come down. Earth has got the capacity to attract things. I don't know, fine, but it still does it. I know it, fine. I know the law, gravitation law, the rules and formula. Excellent, it's still there. I don't accept it, doesn't matter, it's still there. It's independent whether you accept it or not. It doesn't depend upon your acceptance. It doesn't depend upon your approval that it is there. No, it's independent. So, that is truth which is independent of the individual's experience, prejudices, and opinions. In that way, we can understand what is good and what is bad. What supports the strength and purity of the soul is good. That's how we define it. What doesn't is called as bad. Now, Kritam Smara. Come back to the Veda mantra, what we are discussing. Kritam Smara. Whatever you have done, just scan it. Just evaluate what you have done, what is good and what is bad. It doesn't depend upon your opinion. It depends upon the objective universal scale, which is the same for all. So you may call it something as good. Okay. Whatever you have called as good, has it contributed to the strength of your soul? If yes, yes. No, I have done this and I have understood it as good. but I don't find that it has contributed anything to the strength of my soul, then your understanding it is good is bad, is not right. But because it has not contributed. So whether the soul has become stronger or weaker, we can always analyze. It depends upon what we do, what we think, and what we talk. Okay, I'll just give you one simple example. A situation is there where it causes anger. I become angry. So I have reacted to this situation. One situation is and it is one which causes anger, and I have become angry. Now for the same situation, where it is a cause for anger, I don't become angry, I tolerate it and maintain my calm. That would be another reaction. The situation is very much there to cause anger. I become angry, number one. Number two, I tolerate it and I'm calm still. A very simple question is to react to it by becoming angry, maintain my calmness and tolerate it, which needs greater strength. First one or the second one? Very simple. There's a cause for anger, I become angry. There's a cause for anger, but I maintain my calm, tolerating it. The second one needs more strength. So tolerance needs strength, and that is the strength of the soul that's getting reflected in my tolerance. Sometimes I should not be tolerant. I have to become angry because the situation is worst and it should be mended. So I become angry, but internally I'm not angry. You see, that's another one. Externally I'm showing my anger, but internally I'm tolerant and calm. This is still more greater strength. Internally I have to maintain my calm. Internally I have to be tolerant, but externally I have to show my anger so that the things get repaired. This requires still more greater strength. What's it we have done? We have just reacted with anger, strength is less. I have tolerated and I am calm. Okay, now I am tolerant and calm inside, but I am showing my anger outside for its rectification, for the rectification of the situation there. So that requires intelligence, that requires greater strength. So like this, we can work out the degrees of the strength of the soul, the purity of the soul. So for example, there is some money. Some money where I am not able to find the owner, it's just laying down. Some money, or some wealth, something which is valuable. Now, how does my mind think? There's nobody here, there's no caretaker. Why not I take it and use it? That's the first thought that comes to me. Then the second thought says, okay, it's not yours. You have not worked for it. Why do you aspire for it? Leave it as it is. That's the second thought. No, between the first thought and the second thought, first thought is very common and easy, whereas the second thought needs some strength. Because I have to overcome my attraction of that wealth. Then third one requires another thing. That is, okay, we don't know to whom it belongs to. Let me safeguard it and see that it reaches the right owner. That requires still more greater strength and tolerance. And less of attraction. First one doesn't need any strength. Second one needs some strength. Third one needs more strength. Even if it is with me, I don't get attached to it. I search for its owner and try to see that it reaches the right owner. It is with me, still I am not attracted. In the second place, I am not attracted at the moment, but if it continues to be with me, maybe I get attracted and I may fall down. But the third one is the strongest. It's possible, it's possible. It's not mine, I don't touch it. However long it may be with me, my effort shall be to find the right owner and give it. It's not mine. I'm not attached to it. Internally also. That requires greater strength. So we can analyze how far we are strong, how far we are pure. That which adds to my purity and strength is good. that it doesn't add to my purity or strength is bad. In the first place, I take it. In the third place, I don't take it. It is still with me, but I'm not attached to it. What do you call it? It is called as asteya. That's the word. As I don't touch a thing which is somebody's. Though it is with me, I just search for the owner. I want to give it back. It is not mine. I don't use it. That detachment for the wealth, that detachment of not consuming somebody's property, that we call it as asteya. And asteya adds to the strength. Asteya adds to your weakness. It's very tough. It's very tough to overcome that attraction. If you overcome it, you are strong. You don't overcome it and succumb to it, you are attracted towards it, then you are weak. So this weakness and strength can be analyzed in this way for every situation, for everything. And if we do it, yes, it is beyond our opinion, and that's the truth, we are reaching it. So Kritam Smara, think about what all I have done so far and segregate them as good and bad, good and bad. What is the use of this segregation? Whatever is good you have found out, continue. Whatever is bad, you transform yourself. All this when I can do. Kritaha, I am active. I am able to use my tool. Number one. And one who is able to use my tool, think of God. Om Kritosmara. That's the first part. Klibe Smara, think about your weaknesses. Third one, analyze your actions as right and bad, segregate them. Now all these I can do when I am with this Sharira Indra Manas, and once I am devoid of the Sharira Indra Manas, I can do nothing of all this. That's a very serious thing. Only when I am alive I can do it. Once I am dead, my tool is gone. I can't do anything. I can't remember God. I cannot imbibe the qualities of God. I cannot analyze my weaknesses and become stronger. I cannot analyze my actions as good and bad and improve goodness and reduce my badness. I can't do. So, these three pieces of Veda mantra are specifically chanted, specifically used when there is a death. So that's the beauty of it. When there is a death, a person is dead. You are participating in his funeral. You are participating in his cremation. At that point of time, these three pieces of Veda mantras are chanted loudly for every one of us to introspect. Think of God. You see, now that person is dead. We are seeing a dead body. Can that dead body think of God? No, it's gone. It's only a dead body. That soul is gone. It cannot do anything. But we who are participating in that funeral, who are participating in this cremation, yes, we are able to do still because we are still with our Sharira Indra Manas. It's not high time. Even now, we can think of God, the godly qualities, the divine qualities, and practice them in your life. Still you have got that opportunity. See the dead body. It has lost its opportunity. Its opportunity is gone. It has come to an end. What you have got. Klibe Smara. Analyze your weaknesses and overcome it. Can that dead body do it now? No. Because devoid of its soul. Soul is not there. Soul doesn't have the Sharira Indra Manas. Tool is separate. The operator is separate. Now they are separated. What can be done there? Nothing. But still you are with them. In your case, the operator and the apparatus, they are together. You can do it. You can analyze your goods and bads. Can that do it? No. You see how serious it is. I may also reach that condition tomorrow. I may kick off my tool today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and get lost. Can you do that then? No, I cannot. As long as I'm in the Sharira Indra Manas, I can do it. It's a great opportunity. Do it. Analyze yourself. Analyze your goods and bads. Active your goodness. Remove your badnesses. Think about weaknesses. Become stronger. And think of God and its divine qualities and imbibe them. because you're still with your tool. There's a great opportunity. See that only tool is laying there. The operator has gone. So no use. It's a practical lesson that is given. That is, these mantras are chanted when we are in a funeral, when you are in a burial ground. And if you understand this, when you look at the dead body from which the soul has gone out, and understand the importance of this life, what I have got, I'll be able to understand and realize the greatness of the life, the tool being with the operator. And I understand this opportunity as a human being for doing all these things. I miss the opportunity, it's gone. It is gone forever. What happens next, we don't know. By chance, if we get a human body, that's excellent. If not, gone. We'll be in the bhoga yoni and we'll be suffering. I cannot improvise. I cannot act to my strength of the soul and purity of the soul. Maybe for many number of years, I don't know. But now I have the opportunity to make the best use of it. So these pieces of Veda mantras are specially chanted at the time of the funeral and the cremation. Om Krito Smara, Klibe Smara, Kritam Smara. So it's a warning for all of us who are participating in the funeral or the cremation that still you have got the great opportunity. One person has lost that opportunity, but you still have. Make the best use of it. It reminds us of it. And if we really take it seriously, yes, our life should get transformed. But it's a sarcastic way of looking at it. People say, this mood we get it when we are in the funeral or the cremation ground. And that's called as Smashana Vairagya. Smashana is that burial ground. So when I am there, yes, I get into these thoughts. Okay, this person is dead. He cannot do anything. He has left everything. But I am amassing so many things which will not come with me. Tomorrow also I am going to die. All the relationships, what I have developed will all come to an end. All these things we think as long as we are in the burial ground. As long as you are participating in the funeral. And this they call it as Smashana Vairagya. And once you come out of this Smashana, you are again mundane and materialistic. You forget all that feelings there. Once we come out of this Smashana, that Vairagya is gone. That's what happens generally. But don't get into that. Let that continue in your life. Even after coming out of the funeral, coming out of the burial ground. You continue that feeling and lead a better life. Om Krito Smara, Klibe Smara, Kritam Smara. Though it originates there, though it influences or motivates, think on those lines, let that not come to an end by the end of the funeral, let it continue your life. It's Yajurveda 40.15. Okay. So this a scanning of the whole of Yajurveda we have done with hundreds of pieces of Veda mantras from Yajurveda. And let us look at other things. So far we have been seeing pieces of Veda mantra. Maybe from the next class we'll look into the whole Veda mantra. We'll pick up some Veda mantras and study it incomplete. Incomplete. Of course, it's complementary Veda mantras and other things. And of course, the pieces of Veda mantras what I have seen already, that we shall do, that is today is Friday for me. Tomorrow it is Saturday for me, dialysis day. Sunday it is first Sunday. First Sunday I got that yoga class. Then Monday is okay. Monday for me and Sunday night for you. Sunday night for you and Monday for me would be fine. So we'll again meet and we'll again, there are a lot of things to study and understand. We'll start in a new way of studying the whole month. Okay, thank you all.
Dhanyawada.
Dhanyawada.